once more. As for the Yellow Jackets in their last time out on the mat, last time was the 37th annual John Suma Invitational held here at the Lou Higgins Center Fieldhouse, and the Yellow Jackets came away with the victory, finishing first of all 13 teams. Prior to that, they won against John Carroll, won against Mount Union, won against Muskingum, all on the 20th. So, again, a lot of wins for the Yellow Jackets here as of late. And I mentioned this was going to be a shorter night. We only have 4 weight classes that are going to be wrestling. Wilmington bringing a much shorter roster here tonight. So it's going to be 157 pounds, that weight class, 165, 174, and 197. We're actually going to have some wrestling action. So going to be a short night. Yellow Jackets, due to all the forfeits, again, they're going to have a major team advantage by the time we get to 157. Of course, all the announcements being made right now of Jacob Decatur at 125, Keegan McMahon at 141, Robbie Palmieri at 149. Those guys, again, won't have to really do much aside from step out there on the mat really quick for the forfeit. But for the Yellow Jackets, they'll get underway at 157 with Justin Ritchie going up against 157 Aaron Pardo. At 165, Hunter Kupnewski up against Garrett Simmons. 174, Carter Lloyd versus Alexander Ruth. Going to be a forfeit at 184. And then at 197, Luke Hopkins against Caleb Tackett. And then the forfeit upcoming at heavyweight as well. So that is what you can expect here tonight in the matchup between these two squads. And we're about to get things started here in just a few moments. Of course, always love the starting lineup announcements here from Ursprung Gymnasium. Lights going out, the spotlight on. Have Stinger, the big inflatable, out there so they can run through the tunnel. And of course, the smoke, the fire lighting up as well as all the wrestlers run through. So we'll step aside for the national anthem, be right back before we get this evening underway. Don't go anywhere here on BWYellowJackets.com and OAC TV. Tonight's Yellow Jacket Wrestling match is being brought to you by the Oswald Company, risk and insurance leader since 1893. Chuck Rotuno and OE Connection LLC, your global automotive technology provider, and Medical Mutual of Ohio, the official healthcare provider of Baldwin Wallace University. You're listening to Yellow Jacket Wrestling on BWYellowJackets.com and OAC TV. So stepping out is Jacob Decatur at the 125-pound weight class. Walk out to the center of the mat. And, of course, the raise of the hand and bumping of the fists with the coaching staff of the Wilmington Quakers. And with that forfeit, Yellow Jackets team score of 6-0. And then at 1:33, excuse me, that's at 1:41. Keegan McMahon. And Yellow Jackets not sending anybody out for 1:33. But at 1:41, McMahon gets the forfeit, so 12-0 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. And then Robbie Palmieri will go out to the middle of the mat here for this forfeit. So 18-0. And we get things started now at the 157-pound weight class. Justin Ritchie, the senior from Carlisle, going up against Aaron Pardo, the senior from Clarksville, Tennessee. So 3 minutes up on the clock here for the opening period as these two going to get things underway, with the Yellow Jackets leading with a team score of 18-0 after the 3 forfeits. Ritchie going to work here right now, has a hold of the ankle, trying to do what he can to keep his foot inside the circle there on the mat. Pulling Pardo back, doing a nice job, and there's the 3 points on the takedown. The first points of the night here in this one at 157. Still keeping that right foot in at the moment. And now going to be out, and they'll return back to the middle of the mat. Just about 1 minute wrestled so far in this one. Working from the top position. Ritchie has Pardo really flattened out down there on the mat, and definitely an exhausting spot to be in. Trying to get him turned. Left shoulder of Pardo turning back a little bit, but has that right shoulder really down. Try to keep that facing forward. In a pretty tough spot though, Ritchie. Trying to make something happen. Pardo getting turned just a little bit more and more, ever so slightly. Really good spot for Ritchie right now. Pardo doing all he can to keep that shoulder up. Ritchie readjusting his position to roll him some more. Under a minute left here in the period, and it looks like both shoulders very nearly down for Pardo now. The official has a close look. He's still holding up the fingers for potential back points if this does not result in a fall. Pardo really awkwardly has that left leg bent back. Now almost straightening out a little bit. Still trying to fight out of that awkward spot. Under 30 seconds left to go in the period. And Pardo able to flip back over. So there's the back points, making it 7-0 in the riding time right now for Justin Ritchie. Impressive here in the opening stanza. Going to have over 2 minutes of riding time. He's going to get some more points here before the end of the first period. And there you have it. There's 4 more. 11-0 end of the first. And 2 minutes and 21 seconds of riding time here. And so a really excellent start for Justin Ritchie. Nearly got the fall, not once, but twice. We continue to wrestle, but certainly heading in the trajectory of some major team points here at the 157-pound weight class for the Yellow Jackets. Bit of hand fighting right now. Ritchie getting in on the right leg. Pardo trying to keep it extended. Ritchie going to try to make a move to get to the other leg. He's readjusting his grip there with the right hand on the ankle, on the foot. Once he felt comfortable, got the left arm free and ultimately gets the takedown. So those 3 points now making it 14-0, nearing a tech fall. Under a minute left in the second period. Ritchie going to return him back to the mat here, up along the edge of the circle. Nearly 3 minutes of riding time now. Pardo just looks exhausted at the moment. And there you have it. 4 points for the back points. And a tech fall gives 5 points to the Yellow Jackets on their team score. So make it 23-0 after the 157-pound weight class. So a big victory there for Justin Ritchie, commanding that entire time. And now Hunter Kupniewski going to try to do the same at the 165-pound weight class, senior from North Royalton. And he's going up against 165-pounder Garrett Simmons, the junior from Frankfurt. Shake of the hands, and we are up and going. 3 minutes up on the clock for the first period. Kupniewski trying to be the aggressor early, taking the first shot. In on the leg. Getting Simmons turned. Simmons in a really bad spot here. Already 20 seconds into this one. Both shores are down, and there's the fall. 26 seconds is all it took for Hunter Kupniewski to get the fall and pick up 6 points for his team. So the Yellow Jackets now up 29-0. And we move to the 174-pound weight class. Carter Lloyd, the junior from Brecksville, up against Alexander Ruth, sophomore from Marion. And the wrestling room for the Yellow Jackets just filled with so much talent. From top to bottom, a lot of depth. There's a reason why they're one of the top programs, men's wrestling across the country in Division III athletics. And you're seeing that talent on display on what's certainly a shorter night, as I mentioned, but the Yellow Jackets making it even shorter with how they've started to this point, especially with that Kupniewski pin so early. Lloyd looking for the first takedown and the first points of this one. There you have it. 3 up on the board now for the Yellow Jackets. One minute wrestled so far in this opening period. Mentioned the team score of the Yellow Jackets, 29-0 here. After the conclusion of the 174-pound weight class, forfeit at 184, so 197 is going to be what wraps up the night here. So 3-1 after the escape for Ruth. Lloyd getting low, looking for his opportunity to take a shot this time. He does take it. Puts Ruth on his back. Ruth doing a nice job rolling through that one. Didn't get stuck in a nearly as bad of a position as his teammates did a little bit earlier in Pardo and Simmons. Nonetheless, the 3 points additionally on the takedown there, and now 6-1. 1 minute remaining in the opening period. Over a minute of riding time now for Carter Lloyd. Usually it can get pretty energized here in Ursprung Gymnasium for wrestling matches and supporters, the teammates, a lot of energy. Tonight, a little bit more quiet. Definitely not the same amount of supporters as I'm sure the athletes themselves kind of let parents and friends and family members who wanted to make the trip over here, again, whether they were going to be wrestling or not here tonight, of course. So knew what to expect coming into this one. But still some people over in the stands, over on the far side. At the end of the second period, 6-1 in favor of Carter Lloyd. He's going to start this next period in the down position. Quickly trying to get to his feet. Reversal there, and that was one where Lloyd did a good job of actually somehow maintaining his balance, and the way he fell into that is almost unfortunate for Ruth. Ruth wrapped that leg around and tried to return him back to the mat and just happened to lose his balance, fall forward, and perfect positioning for Lloyd. He's now working from the top again, well over 2 minutes of riding time now. 30 seconds wrestled here in the second period. Still working from the top. Going to let Ruth up. So there's the escape. 1 point for Ruth. And another shot opportunity now for Lloyd. Lloyd gets in on the leg. Pulling him back to the middle. Going to try to kick that leg out. Able to do so. And there you have the 3 points for the takedown. 11-2 now. Lloyd taking a look over at his coach, Jamie Gibbs, who's in his 13th year as head coach of the Yellow Jackets. And Gibbs really gave him the okay to let Ruth up there and try to go after him. Has enough time still here in this period to do so. 11-3 now after that 1 point escape on the edge of the mat. Driving through the leg. And there's the takedown. Up along the mat and then just on the edge. And play's going to stop here with the action before they go off of the mat and end up on the hardwood over there. So 14-3 after the takedown. 11 seconds left in the period. Over 3 minutes of riding time now for Carter Lloyd. Just flattens Ruth out here on the mat. And that's really going to do it here for this stanza. 14-3 is how the second wraps up. And we move to the third and final period. So Carter Lloyd absolutely has an opportunity right now to be aggressive with 2 minutes left, try to get the tech fall for his team. And that's, of course, what's got to be on his mind here at this point with the score at 14-3. A takedown and a quick escape and another takedown. That would wrap everything up here. Wrestler's getting a little over antsy. Reset, and there's the whistle for the start of the third. Lloyd got the arm in a good spot, and there you have it. Forget the tech fall. Do one better with a fall. Carter Lloyd gets it done. So the junior from Brecksville picks up 16 points. And it's now 35-0, Yellow Jackets.
At 184, your winner by forfeit from your Yellow Jackets,
Ryan White's the senior from Pennsylvania at 184, winner by forfeit. 6 points for the Yellow Jackets, 41-0 now. And our final one tonight of two wrestlers going up against each other toe-to-toe. And it's Luke Hopkins, the senior from Cuyahoga Heights at 197 against Caleb Tackett, the junior from Franklin. Both wrestlers feeling each other out here at the moment. Hopkins maybe a little bit more stout frame than Tackett. Tackett is certainly longer, has the longer limbs. Bit of a different build. And right now, because of that, Hopkins having a difficult time really trying to find a way to kick that other leg of Tackett out. Instead, had to really take him to the mat. No points yet so far. And there you finally have it. So the takedown for Hopkins gets this one started 3-0, over a minute wrestled in the first period. So Hopkins now working from the top. Trying to maybe get Tackett in an awkward position and see if he can get him turned. He's had a few of his teammates pick up wins via pin here tonight. Trying to do the same thing himself. Tackett really trying to spread his legs, have a wide base, and trying to throw his weight back to get to his feet. Tackett gets things turned, and the length of the Wilmington wrestler ends up paying off there. And it's now 3-2 after the reversal. I think we're going to potentially have another reversal here. Yes, we are. Hopkins ends up on top once again after the 2 points. It's 5-2. 40 seconds left in the opening period. Yellow Jackets trying to pitch a shutout. And it all comes down to Hopkins here at 197 to do so. And the wrestlers roll out of the circle there. They'll return back to the middle. Tackett a little bit slow to get up. And not sure if he was feeling a little bit nicked up or whether that was just exhaustion. Obviously, wrestling such an exhausting sport. Not a ton of time, short time frame, but you exert so much energy. Nonetheless, Tackett gets the reversal right at the end of the first period, and the 2 points for him makes it 5-4. Hopkins and Tackett in a battle here at 197. We're going to have a brief pause in the action here right now. So a technical violation going against Baldwin Wallace. So 1 point given to Wilmington and Tackett. So now it's 5-5. And Tackett starting the second period from the top position with things all level at 5-all. It was already feeling like a bit of a battle here in this one. That certainly helps the visitors. Hopkins trying to see if he can sprawl that weight back. He's able to do so. And he's able to turn things around and end up on top. So reversal, 2 points. And these two wrestlers continue to just get reversals time after time after time. And some of that feels like it has to do with the different frames of these two players. Hopkins just has a little bit more stout of a build. Tackett, much more gangly. And it feels like a lot of times when he's falling, arms and legs are all over the place, and sometimes it results in him rolling through and somehow ending up on top. And then on the flip side, sometimes it goes the opposite direction for him, and then Hopkins has managed to end up just landing on top, and that's how those reversals have happened. But it's made things interesting here. 7-5, 38 seconds left in the second period. Over a minute and a half now of riding time for Hopkins, who's trying to get to his feet. We may end up having a stalemate here in just a second, or maybe potential dangerous play for Tackett, who's on his head. Instead, a call going against Hopkins, awarding 1 point to Tackett again. And Coach Jamie Gibbs is coming over to talk about that one. He's not understanding the call, not happy with it. And may actually potentially have been maybe an issue up on the scoreboard as they're trying to get things sorted out here right now, talk things over. But with the brief pause in the action, a reminder that tonight's Yellow Jacket Wrestling match is being brought to you by Barron's Bus Lines, the official charter bus company of Yellow Jacket Athletics. Mike's Bar and Grill in downtown Berea, a great place before or after any Yellow Jacket event. And Antonio's Pizzeria of Middleburg Heights, the official pizza sponsor of Yellow Jacket Athletics. You are listening to Yellow Jacket Wrestling on BWYellowJackets.com and OAC TV. Final 15 seconds now of the second period. Still working from that top spot is Hopkins. Nearly 2 minutes of riding time. Trying to return Tackett back to the mat here to close out the period. And there you have it. So end of the second, 7-6. Hopkins over Tackett. 2 minutes on the clock, and Tackett will start in the down position. And when we've seen anything like this, when Tackett's been down, he's somehow been able to get a reversal and vice versa. So that being said, something that Hopkins has to watch out for. And we'll see how Hopkins plays this. Getting closer and closer to locking up riding time, which of course then would give him 1 point. So you can start thinking about it potentially feeling like 8-6 here soon. But he's going to let up Tackett. So there's the escape. So 7-7. And these two really going to square off here. Riding time has officially now been locked up for Luke Hopkins. So Caleb Tackett has to be aware of that. He needs a takedown, needs to make something happen offensively. The long arms, the reach could certainly help him, but he's also subject to really trying to defend those legs as Hopkins has the leverage to get in low, trying to drive in low on that shot. And both wrestlers go out of that center circle and they'll return back. No points awarded. Looked dangerous for Hopkins there for a second as Tackett kind of tossed him. Under a minute left. Hopkins can certainly be defensive right now. He would win this thing if he does, but you can't be too defensive and get caught on your heels. 30 seconds left. Tackett running out of time and maybe running out of energy as well. Surprised he hasn't taken a shot here. 15 seconds left. He's going to have to go. He does with 10. Well defended by Hopkins, who gets low, and then Hopkins drives Tackett to the mat. And there's 3 points on the takedown. The takedown that closes this out at 197 pounds. 11-7 in favor of Luke Hopkins. So the decision gives 3 points to the Yellow Jackets. And then at the heavyweight class, of course, going to be a forfeit as well. So Doug Byrne, winner by forfeit at heavyweight. So 6 more team points for the Yellow Jackets. And in the end, the final score for the Yellow Jackets, they win as a team over Wilmington 50-0. So they get the shutout, and we can touch on what's coming up next for both of these squads. Well, next up for Wilmington, they're going to wrestle against University of Mount Union down in Cincinnati at Mount St. Joseph University. So again, 2 OAC schools, actually going to be much closer to Wilmington for that one. And for the Yellow Jackets, next up on Friday, they're at Notre Dame College. And then on Sunday, it's the JCU Open at the Tony DeCarlo Center. So plenty of action the rest of the week for the Yellow Jackets as well. BW, they improved their record to 7-0 in the conference, 14-2 overall. Wilmington falls to 1-5 and 1-7 overall. For myself, Cole McDaniel, I want to thank everybody for watching and listening here on BWYellowJackets.com and OAC TV tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will be back with you for basketball action tomorrow.